Mm. Oh, by the way, um, so in the song "What Are You Waiting For?" Um, okay, and I also wanted to point out I was even hypnotized to think, "What are you wanting for?" Mm. But I was hypnotized to um, like let's say for example, there's a lot of like a lot of parodies will use the same tone, like um, like jingles, everything. I pitch, like just changing the lyrics to make a parody of a song. Very similar to how the artist Weird Al Yankovic makes various parodies of different songs, um, where he would sing the parodies, in a very similar sounding tone of voice, pitch, speed, um, volume, to the same beat, same timing, just using different words. Um, so I was hypnotized to imagine the chorus of the song playing, and with the lyrics, "What are you wanting for?" Especially where in the song it's like a little bit the lyrics like repeat in the chorus, um, and emphasize certain portions of the lyrics. Um, I'm legitimately trying to think of an example. I don't want to risk any copyrights in this. This is evidence. So mm, like well, I'll give an example, right? There's a very clear, distinct difference between like singing lyrics and rapping lyrics. Weird Al Yankovic, if he does a parody of something, he will imitate the way the lyrics are, um, replicate the way the lyrics sound. So with different lyrics. So basically, for example, if he was making a parody of um, like a song that was sung, um, like um, you could use the Nickelback song for example. If he, he would sing it, the same way that that Nickelback would sing it. Like Nickelback doesn't rap. So, like he would be singing in the parody of a song that was sung, and then another example would be if a song was rapped, he would rap the parody of the song or the varied lyrics of the song, if the song was rapped. So, various different rappers out there, Eminem being a great example, one of my favorite artists. I literally had to look into copyright laws for these videos. Like hooks in songs, for example. But yeah, same like pauses, everything along those lines. I don't know the technical terms for these things, but yeah, I guess that's what I meant by jingle. Um, so, and an example of what are you wanting for? Well, um, uh, I guess this could be like a metaphorical reference. If wanting being an action or a verb, in this situation that I'm depicting, that they, used to alter or change my behavior and thoughts. Um, so this varies from, uh, saying I need medications to I want medications. Uh, Basically, so that then it would be it would change the belief, and also the phrasing and behaviors associated with that. Um, Very simply, or and also expectations, of these types of things. Like, when you need something, well, I mean, you basically are going to do anything to make sure that you have that. But if you want something, then I mean, like, it's kind of a little bit more, it's not a necessity. You don't necessarily need it. You can go without it. And the reason I would be wanting would be so that I would be able to be programmed to, um, you know, uh, be more willing, and less resistant to go without certain things. Um, Also, the way that it sounds, too. Like, saying, like, I need Klonopin, in comparison to I want Klonopin. Um, I mean, there's a little bit more that they did with that, but basically, uh, you can understand the contrast and the comparison where, like, people would be less expectant of you, um, having, like, obtaining, like, desires or non-essential, um, desires instead of, necessities, like things that are like necessary for survival. So, you know, like, um, this is also an example, the difference between saying I need food and I want food. Um, basically, like, there's like a big difference, especially, just, depending on, like, like, luxuries versus necessities. Because you can be deprived of luxuries easier than you can be deprived of necessities. Um, and convincing a person that necessities are luxuries is a, cynical method of psychological abuse, specific technique. Um, so basically, like, cynical and, very subtle, as in, like, you don't need that much food, and, changing their beliefs over time. Oh, maybe you're right. Very similar technique, to cognitive behavioral therapy, actually. Um, just kind of, instead of for therapeutic purposes, it's for manipulative and abusive purposes. Um, you know, and situations of, abuse and gaslighting. So, starting out very subtle, like, like, I don't need, you don't need that much food, to, like, well, I mean, okay, well, I guess I don't have to have, like, three full, course meal, like, three, like, full, like, meals every day, right? Where, like, I guess I don't need like two servings of that food. I, only need one. Right. And then, over time that could change to, you don't need to eat three times a day. It's not going to kill you if you only eat one or two times a day. Um, to, like, you don't even need to eat every day, but, you know what I mean? And let's say, for example, a person would be considered underweight, an individual with an eating disorder, legitimately, and they were, given instructions, like, by their doctor that, like, you should at least, consume a minimum amount of calories per day. And, um, it's just kind of, justifying beliefs, changing beliefs over time. Hypnosis can do very similar things, but, typically hypnosis will do it much more. Well, depending on the type of hypnosis, direct hypnosis will typically do this much faster, um, and, to much more extreme extents. Um, like, um, like, wow, could use a, like, a, cucumber as an example. I remember seeing this on a, TEDx talk, by a hypnotist, and, he, hypnotized the volunteers to feel like, you know, extremely terrified of cucumbers, and then, basically, like, that took less than like a minute for him to make them feel completely terrified of cucumbers, more terrified of anything else that they, have ever feared before in their lives, um, in less than a minute. Well, other techniques not using direct hypnosis could take much longer than that. Um, could vary from days, hours. I mean, you could use conversational or covert hypnosis. You might not be able to achieve necessarily as an extreme of result. Typically, you could. Well, I mean, uh, I'm not entirely sure about that necessarily, but that is a specific example. But I mean, you can, achieve some pretty phenomenal results in a matter of minutes with conversational hypnosis, um, or covert hypnosis. Um, Typically, without using hypnosis, this could vary from I mean, that's an extreme example, but changing the for convincing a person that they don't need to eat every single day would take probably several months or even years. Just subtly and gradually increasing the pressure, slowly and gradually changing the belief from the minimum requirements to, yeah. Very similar to like boiling a frog, but start be just being subtle. I'm being very repetitive. The hypnosis is really inhibiting me right now and bothering me a lot. And I'm just trying to write this like one sentence and phrase it. I will probably just do that. Let's see, I should have another scratch piece of paper. Great. I'm gonna just start writing it. Okay. So, I was hypnotized to and this is another thing is kind of this was really like a serious like this is extremely serious because I mean it's kind of like they shot themselves in the foot because literally the death threats actually logically motivate me to continue doing what I'm doing that they're threatening me for, because when I even became complacent, they killed people anyways. And all it did was enable them to get away with it. So, literally, in order to prevent that, like, that's serious. Still doesn't make me feel uncomfortable with the obvious scenario and implication, but still, it's like lying, saying that they're gonna stop, and then lying to me just so that they could get away with doing it anyways. But yeah, I really don't have an option here. Also, like, this is awkward because it's something that I definitely don't feel comfortable with in general, especially if you looked at how much I've cared in the past regarding everybody and their safety, but if I stop, it endangers people. If I keep going, it endangers people. It could endanger people. I feel like that's just much more incriminates them than anything. But I was hypnotized to think as that as soon as oh wait. Oh, this also because um when I was reading this, flooded with phone calls about me, and that when the unsettling news about me got out, that Billie Eilish would actually died. Well, first of all, the wording and grammar in that sentence is incorrect. But second, um, it specifically made me remember this was like last year. There was uh, I was cued. It was one of Billie Eilish's Instagram stories where specifically there was a picture of her crying at Coachella 2 years prior to that time, um, at that moment, um, on Instagram. And the hypnotic cue I had was to think it's too late. Um, Billie Eilish was dead, murdered, and that her Instagram page was now a memorial. And the picture of her crying was supposed to represent her pain that she experienced from dying. Hmm. 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 Oh. Well, I mean, to fix that one sentence, all I have to do is the period at the end. Um, but and I was thinking about something else, basically preparing for um, future situations and events, especially where since I'm hypnotized, I could be basically left. I mean, not. I'm not entirely. Like, I mean, I could be left like uh, realistically incapacitated to be able to lead if I got the publicity and credibility I needed. Um, Say, for example, that hypnosis just completely inhibited my ability to speak, completely inhibited my cognition. Um, you know, I was thinking about even just preparing, planning all this stuff in advance. But, well, I mean, I have actually spent quite a bit of time on this already, honestly. Um, Also, so the yeah, so the Instagram picture of Billie Eilish, though, on that one specific day, I was hypnotized to think that that meant that, yeah, she was murdered. And, I remember I cried my eyes out that day, um, and the following day, for hours on the train. Um, and that night, I couldn't even talk. But, um, oh, what I wanted to say was, like, I actually really do care, and I'm not being like reckless or selfish or intentionally endangering anybody's safety or experiencing any lack of concern for anyone's safety. Although I am hypnotized to um, feel euphoria talking about this stuff, actually, just to impose the impression that I